amazing to see you guys here early in the morning. Thank you guys for being here. My name is Godswill Ugwa Jr. I'm 30 years old. Woo! And yeah, I came to UT Dallas 2010 to 2015. I did my undergrad in business and biology, and then I got my master's in healthcare. And then somehow I found a job in anime. So anything is possible, y'all. Yeah, just like was stated, I did the anime club, so A3, I think 2012, 2013. And then I did this convention, Comet Con, back in 2012. So it's 10 years, I can't imagine that, oh my gosh. And before we used to be in a smaller area, the conference center, which I don't think exists anymore out here, no? Okay, no. Is out. So, yeah, back in my day, you know, when there were smaller buildings and everything was older over here. So I'm really excited to be back here. I live in LA now, and I flew back just to be here to see this Comet Con. So it means a lot you guys are here and that you guys are sitting here to listen to me. There's still time to leave if you guys want.
No, don't leave.
Christine, don't. No, not you, Christine. No.
So yeah, I mean, also towards the end of this, I can answer any questions about how to get into the industry. I can't help you with how to become a voice actor. I'm not a voice actor, but I can help you with getting into the business side of anime, with my stories about like how anime has shaped my life, and to where I am now, what I do. So yeah.
I think we can start off with a pre-planned question, but of course, if y'all have any questions as you develop them throughout the time, feel free to ask them. So I think the first question everyone wants to ask is, what is your job as a community manager?
Yeah. So I work at Viz Media as a community manager, which means I help run the social media sites. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, I help run those. I have a team that I work on, and I have been working there for about 2 years. So, you know, if you're talking to somebody on Viz Media, you're probably talking to me or my team, really. And then also I work with a lot of influencers. So I work with YouTubers, cosplayers, and we work with them to do promotions for manga and anime. So, living the dream, actually.
And what has been your favorite part of the job so far?
Favorite part of the job? One, I get to work on anime and video games and manga. It's awesome. You know, stuff that I thought I would have to stop working on as I grew up, you know, is my day-to-day. My other part that is my favorite, I love talking with people who are passionate about this stuff, you know, like people who love anime and manga and want to see it thrive. I get to talk with you guys. I get to, you know, work with you guys like with promotions, and I get to come here and talk about what I do. So that's my favorite part.
And so, from the time you graduated from UTD, how did you end up just getting to Viz from UTD? What was that path like?
Great. So I first started with biology and business. I was planning to become a doctor. My parents really wanted me to be a doctor, still do. But what happened was, what happened was I first started, you know, just like really going into anime culture. I started with the anime club. I wanted to do an anime club that was like more fun and more indicative of what I thought anime culture was. You know, not really just coming in to go watch and sit down and watch anime, but like to participate in the culture of anime, you know? To hang out with people who enjoy anime. And we got the attention of Funimation and Crunchyroll. We did some contests that like got their attention, and then we started like talking with them more and more. And then I went to conventions and I would help them out. I would see them around town. And I just started doing more anime like for fun, and then eventually they actually hit me up and they're like, hey, would you like to work with us? And I was working at a hospital when they called me and asked if I wanted to become a part of the Funimation team. So it's not really like the most direct route, but it's where I am now.
And so I think we all have experiences growing up, like being anime fans. It's what has so stigmatized too. So like, how happy were you when it's finally becoming more mainstream now? Like everyone, like it's the cool thing now to be an anime person, like read manga too.
Right. like we won, right? Like the nerds, we won, right? Like we're out here now. Like it's not so taboo to wear cosplay or to show that you like anime. You know, like anime shirts are finally cool. You know, you're not like hiding in the Barnes and Nobles reading the manga in the like 1 or 2 shelves. Now it's a whole segment, right? The biggest movies of the year, Star Wars and Jujutsu Kaisen just did like 18 million off of a weekend. We're doing it, you know? Anime culture is finally mainstream and it's a huge thing. It's not something to be ashamed of anymore. It's something that's actually pretty cool. And it's an international thing. Like everybody all over the world is enjoying anime. Every different culture is enjoying different age groups. So it's awesome.
So how would you say your role as a community manager plays into that?
I mean, yeah, my job is to help foster the culture, you know, to like get people hyped for anime. You know, you like anime? That's awesome. Yeah, let's get hyped about that. Oh, you want some manga? Maybe I can do something for you, you know? Like my job is to get the hype going, and it's to find people who are also hyped about anime culture, you know? Like we work with all different ranges of people, not just famous people, not just check marks. Honestly, 500 following, but you do great cosplay, we might work with you. You're an editor that does great videos, we might work with you. And it's also my job to find the next talent, you know, is to find who is passionate about this and is willing to work with companies and to see if they'd be down to work with us. And then also just to put people on, like cosplayers. You know, we look at all different types of fandoms and all different types of profiles, and we bring them in, and we just get people hyped about it.
So can you speak a little bit to what you look for when you're looking for content creators to work with?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, passion. Are you passionate about what you do? You know, it's many people who do this for the money only, and it sort of shows. I don't really like working with people like who are doing this as just a business. Of course, do it as a business, but if you're doing it just as a business, it doesn't work. But of course, you do have to do it professionally. You know, it can't just be passionate only. So a good mixture of passion and business professionalism. Do you know how to make good content? Do you do good pictures? Do you know how to return emails in like a timely, you know, that's important. You know, like unfortunately some people like that we do want to work with, it's impossible to get a hold of them. Some people that we want to work with, we don't know, you know, if we can actually pay them, you know? So, you know, you have to put yourself, be marketable. So it's a good mixture of like, do you like what you do? And then also, can we work with you?
So can you talk a little bit about some networking tips that you have on getting into the industry?
Yeah, so networking. The best thing to do is to talk to everybody and don't talk to them like I'm trying to get a job. You know, that puts people on guard. I would say the best thing to do is just to talk to a person and to let it be known like what you want to do. You know, if you do want to work in the industry, let it be known, but don't treat that as the only reason you're talking to a person, you know? Like, it doesn't really feel great to, yeah, exactly. It feels disingenuous if you are talking to somebody and it's only like, I just want to get a job. Because in the end, say we do get you in the job. Well, we're working together, right? We do need to actually be cool with you, right? And then also I do need to know that you are like competent and like good at what you are doing, or at least able to learn what you're gonna do. You know, you don't have to be great, but you do need to be able to become great, right? But then also for sure, talk to everybody. Like you never know like where anything can lead up to. You know, maybe the person you talk to could be the foot in the door that gets you into the job that you do want.
So would you say your background as a business student helped you where you are in your career today with, you know, furthering your career as well as just engaging with creators as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely. Being in the business school, like, you know, you learn how to be professional. And then one thing I think that is really cool that I learned was learning the different rungs of like marketing and learning the different rungs of a business, you know. And by learning that, I think I was able to figure out like what companies were looking for. And then of course, you learn how to network, or at least you start networking at business schools. And from there, I was able to not feel so shy about talking with people, to not feel so worried. Although honestly, I would say like my best expertise or like learning experience was through Swab, like through like this company, that puts on like events. I really enjoy.
Heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. So I would say like I learned better like how to talk professionally through here, and like to see fandoms, like to sort of further that fandom. I learned that more here actually.
Yeah, and also we need to give you a personal shout out, because since you created Comet Con, you're partially responsible for why I have a job right now. So shout out to you for that. And as along like the networking too, like how do you maintain those contacts too? Because it's one thing to start, but it's one thing to like keep continue that going in a genuine way.
Yeah, that's a great question too. Because everyone just gets business cards and then you never look at the business cards ever again, right? And that's not the way to do it, I don't think. Like business cards are cool, it's a starting thing, but it's not the end all be all. Like, oh, I gave my business card. Everyone forgets business cards. You throw them away maybe, or they just get crammed in your wallet. You gotta follow up. You gotta follow up. Like you gotta. Social media is a great asset today. Like a lot of people want to stay away from social media. I think it's really good to be on social media and to connect with the people that you do follow up with, that you do start meeting. Many of the people that like I actually have brought on, I met through social, or like I met them in person, but then they followed up through social media and they just kept talking to me. Maybe send a meme. Don't send too many memes, all right? But, you never, especially like in a professional manner, you never know. But we would just keep in contact with each other. We would keep talking. I would see their projects as they would keep going, and you never know, that can translate into a job. I've hired people actually for projects because of social media. Like I met you originally at a networking thing, but I would keep seeing the progress you would do, and I was like, maybe this would work for us. Maybe you are a good fit for whatever we need. Like maybe it's a graphic design or another business thing or a speaking gig. There's so many different positions in the anime world. That's not just voice acting that can get you far.
So do you think you could talk a little bit more about how Viz Media decides what properties to acquire and how y'all make those decisions? I know that's not your role specifically, but on a larger scale.
Yeah, it is tough because it's an international thing, like it's not just America or Japan, but like multiple countries throughout the whole world that are dealing with this. So Viz is special. So let me back up. So Viz Media is a distributor for anime in North America and some European countries and some Asian countries. Of course, it's made in Japan, right? So I don't make anything, I don't draw anything, I am just a marketer, right? And then what happens is Viz in Japan, Shueisha, they're the main companies. They're making content, and then Viz will buy content that they think will appeal to people throughout the world. So I'm not in those conversations, of course, right? Like there's people like way above me that are talking to Japanese licensors all the time, and they're bidding against other companies like Netflix and Amazon and Sony. There's tons of companies that are, like have millions upon millions of dollars, right? And they're bidding for all these titles, but they do research on like what is exciting, like what people all over the world will like. So, actually, like I would say, like because of the hype that is happening online, like the research that we do constantly, we like part of my job is to do a lot of reports to see what do people like, and is constantly looking at tweets and Instagram posts, and that will go to the top and will show people, hey, people like One Piece. Maybe we should get more shows like One Piece. I don't know. And I guess like my research and people around me, we're doing research, see what you guys like, and that will go far into what is being made or what is getting bought next.
So can you tell us one of your favorite projects that you've worked on?
My favorite projects. Huh. Yeah, that's a good question.
I know, it's like asking me to pick a favorite child.
I know, right? Because also, I didn't mention, but before Viz Media, I worked at Funimation. So I worked there for 4 years, and then now I've been at Viz for 2 years. At Funimation, my favorite project, honestly, like thinking about it, it might be like Fairy Tail comes to mind, even though I'm not like a big Fairy Tail fan, but like Fairy Tail, working on Fairy Tail like has been a good time because that was like some of the first movie premieres we did. Of course, Dragon Ball is huge. Dragon Ball Broly was a huge moment for me, going to California for the first time and being able to do like a red carpet premiere for that. And then being at Viz, something that like, was memorable for me, we talked with like an astronaut in training for Dr. Stone. Like we just interviewed her like as, you know, like it was like the real world mixing with anime like in such a crazy way to me. You know, talking with an astronaut in training and talking about like how manga, you know, like might have inspired that.
Right.
Yeah, like that's something that's really great for me. Right now, a project that I'm really enjoying, Record of Ragnarok. We're working with some martial arts choreographers to try to bring it into the real world. You know, try to showcase fighting scenes from manga into real world.
That's very, very cool. So, personal question: do you have a favorite manga or anime?
Absolutely. My favorite one is One Piece. So, yeah, any other One Piece fans in the house? Yeah, a few. Yeah, there we go. It changed my life. The #1 show of all time. It's actually gotten me like quite a few friends in the industry. And like one of my favorite moments was when I went to Japan, and just for fun. In 2016, I went to Japan, and I went to the One Piece Tower, and there, like, you know, there's a bunch of Japanese fans, and then there's 4 black fans in the back, right, just watching the show, live action show. And then like they stopped the show, and then they came up to high five us, and then they went back and like into the show, and it just blew my mind. One Piece has changed my world.
Very, very cool. So can you talk a little bit more about your role at Funimation? Because I know they're local, so there might be some in the audience here who are looking to work with them.
Yeah, so I mean, Funimation has definitely changed. I left there 2019, and as you guys know, Funimation has bought Crunchyroll, and it's now Crunchyroll. In the time I've left, Sony bought Funimation, then Funimation bought Crunchyroll, and then now it's Crunchyroll. And when I was there, I was a social media coordinator, so I also ran the social media sites at Funimation. And yeah, it was like a lot of work for sure. It was lots of fun, but it was a lot of work to do. And for that, I think you need to know some graphic design. You need to know how to speak to people on the internet. You need to know how to speak to people in person. Still working on that.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Thank you. Needed to like have lots of different skill sets to be able to work as a social media coordinator. But then there's so many different jobs you can do. You know, there's video editing. A lot of A-Tech jobs or like skills you're learning here will prepare you pretty well for that. I'm not exactly sure like what is necessary today because things have changed up a lot. But honestly, keep learning the skills you're learning here, and I think that will be like at least a good step in the right direction.
So can you speak a little bit to the culture of the industry as a whole and what you've noticed about that, whether it's good, positive, any changes you've seen in recent years?
Yeah, great question too. Before, I think there was like a lot of people who didn't really know like what anime really was or like the power it still held, and there was a lot of business people in the anime world. But then now I see more and more passionate people who are willing to take risks that are joining the fray, and I think that's really necessary. Like to be able to market to people, I think we need more passionate people. You know, I think it can't just be business people that are looking at graphs and, you know, talking to consultants about like what people want. I think it needs to be people that like are actually excited about like what we're doing. And I see anime like having that voice finally. Like people are proud to be anime fans, and it's in more places around the U.S. Not just Texas, California, New York, but like also the Midwest, all over. So I see a lot of people like who are very excited to be here finally, and I see a lot more anime coming out for sure. So before it wasn't as much, now it's a ton. So there's gonna be a lot more workers necessary to like get it out here. So now's a great time to get into the field.
And on that note, I think we're going to open it up to audience questions. So if anybody has any questions, I'm going to bring a mic down there, and y'all are more than welcome to come ask them.
Anybody? Any takers?
This is the perfect networking opportunity like you talked about.
You spoke about how...
Turn the mic on first.
You spoke about how they make decisions about what properties to license out of Japan. Is there a different decision-making process about what license to promote and market and into what communities you'll promote those licenses to?
Yeah, yeah, we do research. That's a great question. Like we do research into like what titles will entice different communities, and like just being at Viz, like there's different imprints. So like there's like the shoujo side, which trying to appeal to women, right? There's the Shonen Jump, you know, that's the main bread and butter, but like that's the action series, you know, that appeal to action fans, of course, right? We have Sublime, we have Viz Signature, so all different types of titles and trying to figure out like who will like this the most. And we're always trying to figure out like how can we get a title to even get past that community, right? To be like a bigger thing. How do we get any title to be a mainstream viral hit, right? That's what we're trying to figure out in marketing. How do we get you guys to like anything we put out there, right? Hopefully, more things that you guys should hear. Does that answer the question more so, or?
I think so.
Okay. Hopefully, I'll think about some more.
So I'm being kind of greedy. I have two questions.
Sure.
First question is easy. What committee were you a part of when you were small?
Oh man,
Very curious.
I was first multicultural, and then I was games.
Very cool.
I'm not sure what it's called anymore, but yeah, it was called, I think it was called games.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like some sort of entertainment games, I forget. Yeah.
So second question was, I guess this is kind of a broad question, but when did you start getting into anime? Like, how did that affect you in like your childhood or like your early life?
Great question. Because yeah, I've been a fan of anime my whole life, I would say. Like there was a time like when we thought it was just cartoons, you know, Pokemon wasn't really anime. You know, even Yu Yu Hakusho for a while wasn't really anime. It was a cartoon that came on at 4 o'clock after school. But I would say I became like a really anime fan like in middle school, like when they said like this is anime, and I was like, oh, I really like this stuff. And then high school, you know, I joined the anime clubs. College is like when I really became an anime fan, like where I was like, this is for me, and this is what I love being a part of. Like it sort of went past like being like, oh, I'm a black guy who likes anime, you know, and you're whatever, right? Like it was like we all like anime together, you know, and it was like a really cool bonding experience for me, especially like growing up. Like I was usually around like whites and Asians, honestly, you know, like just in like that type of schooling, and like it helped me feel like I belonged. You know, like while I'm trying to figure out who I had anime like to sort of be like role models and a bonding experience with the people around me. I didn't feel as shy whenever I talked about anime, so yeah.
I totally relate.
Dope. Hey, another great, wonderful question.
Hey, so I think it's really important to stay like realistic about your dream job. So and so one thing I'm really curious about is what you think the hardest or your least favorite part of the job is. I think your favorite part of the job is interesting, but I think this one is almost more interesting of a question to ask. So what's the hardest or least favorite thing that you do?
My least favorite part of the job? I mean, I guess reports, honestly. Like, reports aren't fun no matter what you're doing. And then sometimes, I mean, of course, like, this is a job, you know, so like, it doesn't always feel great to wake up and just like, I gotta go to work, right? But it does feel dope to be like, this is my job. But sometimes I get into that trap of like, I gotta go to work, you know? But if I had to say like my least favorite aspect, it would be reports, because I'm just not really that type of analytical guy that loves putting reports together. Didn't like it in school, still don't like it. But learning how to do it and learning the voice of like how to put together a professional report makes it easier, you know, not horrible like it used to be.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, so you might not know the answer to this, but for like anime movies, so like for example, the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 that just came out. When it came out in Japan, I would see stuff like pamphlets people are getting at the movie theater, and like even like gummies that were themed based on Jujutsu Kaisen. So, and then I noticed that there's not really much of that stuff at the theater here. Who decides what kind of promotional stuff is at the theater for those movies in America?
Yeah, actually, like there's, now that like anime is becoming more of a bigger thing, especially like in movies in America, there are theatrical teams like at these companies that are trying to see what can be done. And right now, at least from what I hear, like it is hard to get like these chains, AMC, Cinemark, to participate and like hand out stuff. But seeing the numbers, I think, is actually starting to convince these companies that we should be giving out these things. I don't know if they'll ever get to the scale of Japan, like where like they're giving out candy that's, you know, like that. That'd be awesome. But more and more things are starting to happen. Like I went to a premiere, Jujutsu Kaisen 0 premiere on last Thursday, and they gave out shirts and buttons. Not every theater is gonna do it for sure, but more and more are starting to do it, and more are paying attention because more people are coming out to the theaters.
Does have any questions?
Up here.
So obviously the anime industry is very broad. You could go in a lot of different directions. Is there another part of the industry you'd like to explore besides like marketing?
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
Of course. Is there another part of the anime industry you'd like to explore other than marketing? Or
Ah.
else?
I mean, I actually am thinking about becoming a voice actor maybe one day. But another aspect in the industry that I want to participate in, maybe acquisitions. That'd be really cool. Like to really have like more of a hand in what titles got. Also, I really like the events side of things. Like I love going to conventions, and I would love to make the theatrical side more of a thing too. But if I had to choose one, marketing, like I have absolutely loved it, and you know, my job is trying to get more people like anime. So I want to do more of that, especially like as there's just so much potential now. And we had a question up here, right?
All right, a very important question. Who's your favorite One Piece character?
My favorite, because that's so hard. There's so many great ones. Like one is Frankie, 2 is Jinbei, 3 is Robin. Yeah, nice. And
Anybody else have any questions? Perfect, you have a question.
I have one. Proudest binge watch.
proudest binge watch. Probably Haikyuu. Yeah, honestly, Haikyuu. Like I usually watch shows like as they come, or like just like really slowly. But Haikyuu, like I had like some episodes to watch and fell in love with that. And that one, top 5 for me.
How many shows have you binge watched? Do you know the count of that?
guess I usually don't binge watch, you know? Like, I usually just watch like one episode at a time, you know? Like, I go really slow when I watch anime. So, I've seen like over 300 shows at this point. Like, I just log in like in my anime list. But binging shows, probably like 20 to 50, I'd say. Yeah. How about you?
Proudest binge watch. I mean,
Hard question, right?
well, I would say Naruto.
Nice.
Junior year of high school. I spent like literally 3 months. Like I would come home from school, watch it. Wake up early in the morning, watch it. It was like a religion, honestly. Like once you get hooked on a show, it's just over.
Yeah,
it's
honestly.
it's invite, honestly.
One Piece also. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say probably is my proudest binge watch.
Do you have any tips on watching that show? Because I know it's a lot of episodes, but I want
Start from episode 1 and just keep going. Like honestly, it's for me, is my favorite piece of media of all time. I think it's worth it. One Piece, everyone should watch it. Internationally, it's already there. So, you know, just in America where it's really taking a hard time to hold. You know, episode 1, keep going. Don't skip anything.
Very cool. And last call for any audience questions.
Thank you guys all for being here. Like it means a lot. You guys sat through this whole thing.
Who's your favorite Jujutsu Kaisen character?
My favorite Jujutsu Kaisen person,
Yes.
Toto. Like Aoi Toto. I love Toto. Like yeah, I mean he has a lot of good taste. I think he's really funny and cool. Number 2 would probably be. Yuji probably, yeah, honestly, yeah, Yuji's really cool. Itadori, yeah.
All right. So if nobody else has any questions, can we get a big round of applause for Godswill for being here with us today? Thank you very much for taking time out of your day, your busy schedule to come speak with us.
Thank you guys for having me. It means a lot that you guys came and you guys listened to this, and you know, great questions all around, wonderful questions about the fandom of anime, and then also like the business side of anime. Definitely around to talk some more in depth. And yeah, thank you guys for doing this. Like it means a lot. I'm so excited that Comet Con is still going.
Well, thank you for making it a thing.
Yeah. Where can the people connect with you on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on Twitter and Instagram, even Facebook. My name is Godswill Ugwa Jr. That's my handle. I'm probably gonna change it so it's a little easier, but Godswill Ugwa Jr. That's my handle on all these profiles, and I'm pretty active on all these pages.
Well, awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can we get one more round of applause? All right, so if y'all want to stick around, here in about 25 minutes to half an hour, we're going to have a panel of Gearbox development speakers come talk with us. And a little bit later on today, we do have a cosplay competition in the Student Services Auditorium from 4 to 6. And then tonight, we will be having a screening of Dune. We will be doing a giveaway prize with some merchandise and free candy. As well as tomorrow, we will be having the Rex come perform. So keep your eyes peeled for that as well. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you in a little bit.